Coming up next, I'll share 5 interview mistakes that could cost you the job. And then, how to ask for a raise, how not to. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it all starts right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Solutions Studios in Nashville, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and then how you can get there. It is about your why at work. Now, you are a person who has the relationship side of your life, and then there's the professional side of your life. We're going to look at how you marry the two. How do you work on purpose and get tremendous personal significance out of the work that you do, the work that you create? That's what we're looking at. It comes from this belief that we believe you were created to fill a unique role, that you are needed, and that you must do it. In other words, somebody out there needs you to show up and give of your best in the workplace to make the world a better place. That's our entire theory. And it stands the test of time. That's why everybody wants to answer the age-old question, what should I do with my life? The answer is what you were created to do. And we're going to look at that professional application of that question, which, by the way, when you're on purpose professionally, you're much more satisfied, much happier personally. 844-747-2577 is the phone number to jump in. 844-747-2577. Love to hear from you. Phone lines are open. You're one phone call away from clarity and breakthrough. All right, let's talk about some practical stuff today. We're going to talk about 2 things. We're going to kind of bookend the show with interview mistakes, and then we'll talk a little bit later about this idea of how to ask for a raise. We get this question all the time. So I want to reteach it, and let's start off with 5 basic mistakes that people make in their job interviews that can honestly knock the entire interview out. Just knock it out. Done. It's gone. Doesn't even matter. It's not helping. It's like torpedoing the entire process. So what is the first one? The first one is not handling the money, the salary conversation the right way. Now, you never know when this is going to come up, but when it comes up, you've got to be prepared. And here's where a lot of people blow it. When they start getting questions about salary expectations, compensation expectations, they're not prepared or they're not confident, which, by the way, if you're prepared, it's going to juice your confidence level, okay? What you need to do is you need to be thinking about LinkedIn Salary, Glassdoor, Salary.com. These are 3 resources. There's probably more, but those are very reputable resources where essentially you can do your own research and you get a range of what the typical salary is in your industry, in the job that you're in, even in the geographical area. You need to be armed with that information. Based on that information and based on your needs and your current salary status, you can know where you fit on that scale. Are you on the low end? Are you on the medium side? You're in the middle, in that medium range? Or are you on the high end? You've got to know that so that when that question comes up, you're not fumbling and bumbling and stumbling around. Because it makes you look unprepared, makes you look insecure, all kinds of things. But if you know your salary range based on your position and what you need, now you've got a confident answer. And by the way, it looks like this. Well, the median income for my position is blank. And because of my experience and what I've done and where I am in my career, I want to be in this range. And you just lay it out there. You make the case why, if you want to be between the median and the high, lay it out there very clearly and confidently. All right, let's keep moving. Oh boy. Big interview mistake is when they ask you about your previous work, maybe your previous leader, and you trash them. I left my previous company, or I'm coming here because the idiots I work for are mouth breathers. I can't stand to be around them. I mean, people say things like this. Now, that's extreme, of course. But the idea is when you run your former company down or your current company that you may be leaving, it creates natural question marks of what are they going to say about us? Is it really true, or are they a problem worker, a problem person? Don't run them down. Always take the high road. not doing your homework about the company, not knowing basic things about the company, the products, the services. That's the third big mistake. You just don't do your homework and you're clueless. You're not ready to talk about them. They know that you're looking at this as a job and as a paycheck. There's no connection at all to the company. You don't know anything about them. That's really bad. And I've talked about this many times on the program. Here's another big one. 4, you don't ask good questions. In my How to Win the Interview guide, which is free at kencoleman.com, I take an entire section of that PDF and devote it to the examples of the types of questions you need to be asking when you get the opportunity to talk. Of course, you want to answer their questions, but it should be a free-flowing conversation, ping pong, if you will, back and forth. And there are times where hiring managers will literally look at candidates and say, hey, do you have any questions? And if people go, no, I'm good, no questions. No, you're not good. You just blew it. And then finally, overselling yourself. Acting like an arrogant, overconfident pinhead is how I would describe this. Come on, be humble, but also be hungry. Hungry is you are excited to work there. You tell them why you love the work, why you admire the company, why you want to be there. But you don't need to tell them that you're the greatest thing that's ever happened and that they would be blessed to have you. Don't oversell yourself. Don't go too hard with the self-promotion. They already are intrigued by you. Let them ask the questions and you plug in when they ask you. Those 5 interview mistakes are very, very common and very, very costly. So there you go. Good stuff to think about in preparation to perform well. Now, again, we cover a lot of that in that free Get Hired guide called How to Win the Interview. It's at kencoleman.com under our resources. It's a part of the 3 free Get Hired guides. So you can go get that one separately. You can get all 3, whatever you choose, kencoleman.com. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Let's go to Calvin, who starts us off in Randall, Vermont. Calvin, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks so much for taking my call. I've enjoyed listening to you over the years, or over the last couple of years when I started listening to Entree Leadership.
Oh, thank you.
Your own show. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm just struggling in my current work environment and just looking for your guidance and maybe some next steps I could do. Just trying to really think about what I'm doing now, and I kind of have an idea of what I'd like to do.
Is this a should I stay or should I go question?
Part of it is because my wife and I are thinking we should save up for a move maybe out of my current career and do something different.
Okay.
And I was initially thinking moving into real estate. She's doing that now, and it's kind of interesting to me. So I'm thinking about doing that and maybe mixing it with some other things. I'm not positive though. So I'm wondering if I should move now and continue to save and stay in my career, or do you think I should just stay put? And I have a steady job now, and it's
okay. Well, this is where I'm confused, and I apologize the way you're asking the question. So I need some clarity. If you're going to move, are you saying move into going after real estate full time? Because I don't know how you can. You said, do I move and save money, or do I stay put? It feels like if you're staying put in your steady job, that you can save up more money and then make the move and not have to worry about money because you got enough stored up to maybe keep you at the same income for 6 months or so while you're going full time. Help me understand. I feel like there's some confusion for me.
Yep. Yeah, I was thinking of a move within my career that I'm in now.
Okay.
And just to get out of the work environment I'm in now.
Okay. Would that move be a vertical move financially, or would it be a lateral move?
It would be a slight move vertically financially.
But it would get
not
you
very much.
But it would get you out of the toxic environment.
Yes.
It's same company?
No.
Okay, great. I'm all for that. Because if I'm understanding this correctly, that would make you a little bit more money, but more importantly, just get you out of a toxic environment so that you can stay the course long enough to save up the money to then go, oh, now I'm ready to go full time, and I'm not jumping off a cliff. I'm stepping from one boat to the next boat. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because I think real estate's got to be all in. And so are we talking about selling homes? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and I was actually thinking of using my experience from the work I'm in now, and maybe even offering more services than that.
Like what?
Maybe it would be. I was kind of wondering if it would be maybe consulting with. It could be commercial developments and just be like an owner's rep, and then maybe it's even something with the real estate clients. If they're looking to build a house on a piece of land, I would be able to manage that work.
I like this. Sounds to me like you could have multiple options. You could be their realtor plus their developer or whatever else you're discussing. It sounds like you got a really good grasp on it. Have you done your homework on this to know that that's a very strong possibility once you commit and get in?
I've done some research. I didn't know if you think that if I'm trying to do too much, I wouldn't be able to focus well on
possibly
say it's real estate. Yeah.
But what you described is all real estate. Feels like to me it's just different roles. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I think so. My wife and I just talked whether that would be like a separate set up as a separate company or just all under one. Maybe you know what would be best for that.
Okay, describe again. So one is selling homes. How would you describe in layman's terms this other idea? Is it developing properties like larger, like neighborhoods that big, or are we talking about custom builds that would be of a business nature, so a commercial versus residential? Help me understand.
Yeah, I actually don't know for sure. I was thinking initially it'd be residential. It's say like a client was just looking for a piece of land to build on. I could help them build their new house.
So you would be the contractor there.
Right.
Okay, I'm on the same page. Sorry. Sometimes it takes me a little longer. I'm listening, trying to figure out all the pieces here. But if it's doing contract work and being a real estate agent, I don't know that that's a distraction because as you get started, if you let's say that you get your real estate license and your contractor's license, okay, because you're going to have both, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you get out there and start selling homes, and you run into somebody who's looking for a home, and they go, "Well, we're trying to decide if we do the 3-bedroom to get us kind of started, or do we get a piece of land a little bit further out and go ahead and build our starter house?" Then you go, "Well,
right,
I can do both for you." So it could develop like that, or you could get started and start making some good money selling homes, and then as you build that clientele, these people that are very happy with your services, and they start spreading the word, and they go, "Oh, he's a contractor as well." I'll tell you the example. You may laugh, but the example of this is Chip and Joanna Gaines. Chip Gaines, I don't know if you know that show, Fixer Upper. They no longer film that, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
Well, Chip was a contractor and obviously a realtor as well. So he would go find these homes for people and then do the contract work on fixing it up as well.
Right.
There's your model minus the TV show.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a big distraction, no. Because you will only be able to juggle so much anyway, just by the nature of playing the role of contractor. That's pretty limiting. There's only so much you can do as a contractor at once.
Right.
So it's a function of which one helps you build the other. Which one do you want to try to get off the ground first? And then we naturally add in. My gut is, because you asked me for my advice, and this is just my opinion, not even advice. So I'm going to dial it back and say, my opinion is I would start and get successful at being a real estate agent first, selling homes. And once you get that established, you got really good income, a lot of freedom because you figure out how to do it in the sense of, okay, I can get multiple listings and serve those folks well, and I would have time for a contract gig. And then I think one feeds the other. So that's the route I would go. But I don't think there's a right or wrong answer on that.
Nice.
I say go for it.
Great.
Save up. Yes, so switch jobs, get out of the toxicity, get a better day job, get super disciplined on saving up the money to where you feel good to walk away and do it. I love it. I absolutely love it, Calvin. Very well thought out. Great plan. Better days are ahead, my friend. Let's go to Warrensburg, Missouri now, where Peter is on the line. Peter, you're on the Ken Coleman Show. Hello, Peter.
Hello? Hi.
Hey, Peter, you're live on the Ken Coleman Show. How can I help?
So I'm 22. I'm set to graduate this Saturday. I've been applying for jobs. I used your resume format on your website to try and improve my chances of getting hired. So my question today is, when I don't know an insider at a company, who should I list as a reference?
Yeah, when you don't have somebody that you know, we want to go with the most credible relationships that you have, because we want someone to write an endorsement quote of you, okay? And so we want the most credible person possible. So what type of jobs are you applying for? What industry?
Design and drafting with CAD.
Okay, great. Do you know anybody who does that work?
I do know some people.
Great. So I would go get the endorsement quotes from them, because essentially the way that would look is they're going to write a 2-sentence nice endorsement quote. It's up under who I know, and their title needs to be very clear that they are a professional drafter, or they are higher up the ladder than you are, but they've done what you've done. They know you, and there's some credibility there. Even though the hiring manager may not know them, who I know some people that are pros at what I'm applying to become and what I've been studying to become. And these pros think that I can do a great job at this, and they endorse me. That's what you're plugging in there. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's a really good question. Anything else?
No, that's
good.
All I had.
Yeah, listen, go to those people and show them the sample and say, here's what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for your as strong as of an endorsement as you feel comfortable giving me. And the idea here is I want them to know that this is coming from not my high school football coach, but from professionals doing what I want to do for them. That's why that's relevant. So good question, Peter. And you're going to get there, man. Congratulations on graduating. It's good to hear that. Saturday. A lot of college grads coming out, and they're going, what in the world does this job market look like? And so our materials, what we're teaching, how we're teaching, we've got a great Get Hired course. And that is a 11-part video teaching series from me. It's on sale at kencoleman.com. We got a lot of great free resources at kencoleman.com for you and your soon-to-be college grad. Let's go to Los Angeles next. Charlotte is on the line. Charlotte, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Mr. Coleman. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
You bet. How can I help today, Charlotte?
I'm calling to get advice on how I should proceed in the situation that I'm facing at work.
Okay. What's up?
I was offered a promotion with a big old pay raise of $1 an hour.
Oh.
That won't be effective until January 1st. I've presented my bosses with documentation of all the value that I've added and the results that I've brought to the company, and I've invited them to negotiate and present me a counteroffer. I was declined and shut down, and my options are to take the $1 an hour increase beginning January 1st or to remain status quo. I feel like I'm in a lose-lose situation. I'm super bummed out.
Yeah.
And I would like some suggestions on what to do next.
What would you be feeling had they said, oh, wow, Charlotte, thank you. Great case. You make a great case. You make a very good point. We're going to bump you. What would have been the number that would have made you feel good if they would have countered and received everything you told them? What would have been the number that you would have went, oh, that feels nice?
I was trying to negotiate about $6 higher than where I am now.
Okay. What are you getting paid right now?
I get paid $28 right now.
$20 an hour, and you wanted $26 an hour.
No, I get paid $28 an hour, and I wanted between $34 and $35.
Sorry, that broke up. You're breaking up a little bit, and I didn't hear that. Okay, so you're at 28. You wanted 34 to 36, and they're going to give you 29. What if the raise conversation? What if they would have said to you, "Hey, right now because of COVID, or whatever, we are unable to discuss a raise attached to the promotion, but it's coming down the line." Would you have hung in there for a while to see where it would have gone? Or would you have said, no, I'm not interested in that?
Well, on one hand, I am interested. They are saying that it could come down the line about a year after I get supervisory experience under my belt, that they would be willing to bump me up a little bit further to get me a little bit closer to where I wanted. But I also feel like I need to stand up for myself, and
yeah, maybe
I can see myself feeling resentful for
I agree with that.
working
I agree with that, but I also know that you're a strong lady and you can overcome that. But what I'm trying to figure out is I'm trying to figure out where you really are in the big picture, okay, before I tell you what I think you should do. So the next question is, let's say that you stay with them and for a year you get supervisor experience. And let's say that they don't show up a year later and go, hey, we're now prepared to bump you between 34 and 36. Do you believe, or do you have an opinion on whether or not that 1 year of experience with them and making $1 more per hour, do you think that sets you up to go where you ultimately want to go?
It could. Sure. Yeah, that's a valid perspective.
Okay. Well, but I also am wondering, could you start looking now in this current job economy in Los Angeles, which is very different than Nashville? Yeah. Could you find something else that is the supervisor role? So you would leave. How confident are you that you can find something that essentially is that promotion?
Yeah. Right.
Somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. You're reading my mind, because that's what I'm looking. I'm looking outside and saying, what else could I be doing? Well, so my question is, how confident are you that you can find that? Fairly confident. I've just started looking. Even though you've never have you ever had the experience that this supervisor position that they've promoted you to or offered to promote you to, have you had that experience before? Yes, I have the experience. It's unfortunate because I'm being discounted from the 15 years of experience that I'm bringing to the company. Oh, okay, good. In their eyes, they need to see the track record that I have with them, and I've only worked here for about 2 years. I got it. Okay, so here's where I think you're doing the right thing by calling me, number one, and getting some objective perspective. You're also doing the right thing by looking elsewhere. I think you do look elsewhere. You absolutely see, can I get close to that 34 to 36? But it's not money driven. But you ask the question, can I find that? Can I get that type of supervisor work that I want, which takes me to the next rung on the ladder, which prepares me to keep climbing? And can I do that, get that job that I need to get the experience that I know that I've done elsewhere, but it sets me up and it gets me close to that number? You look for it, because here's the worst case scenario. If you cannot find it right now or pretty quickly, I'd take the bump. And maybe take the bump anyway. Go ahead and say, you know what? Okay, I tried, I countered. I'll do it. And then if you find something somewhere else, you leave anyway. But if you don't find something in the short term, you've gone ahead and taken it, and you're beginning to get this experience, and you're producing more results, and you will have a great attitude because you know it's about your future, not your now. Yeah. And it is still a raise. It's $1. I understand that when you look at it like $1, but I think a fun exercise for you would be to at least add the numbers up and go, okay, what will I make this year at $29 an hour versus what I've been making? Stop looking at it as $1. Just run those numbers and get a better attitude about it. To say, you know what, I'm probably out of here, but right now this is the right move for me. Sure. I think that's the perspective you need to have. Because here's the deal. I think you're right. 3 or 4 months from now, if you find that same thing you've been looking for right now, adios, I'm out. You don't owe them anything. Exactly. So I'm on Team Charlotte, and the right move for Team Charlotte is what we just described. Now, last piece, Charlotte, I know how it feels. I do know what you're feeling. You're frustrated. You feel devalued. Yeah. And that's tough. But you better realize something. If you don't get over that, you will allow these people to hold you back. They're not trying to hold you back. Right. I don't have to agree with their decision, neither do you. But I don't think these people are trying to hold you back. But you will give them power that they did not ask for, and you will become bitter, which will hurt your overall progress if you don't get over this. And you need to get over this. You're right. I want to tell you a quick story, Charlotte. So I was about 2 to 3 years into my pursuit of this dream job, to have a national show that helped people. And I was in the early days, and I was slogging it out, and I was volunteering, and I was interning for free as a 33-year-old guy who had his own company, and I was making 6 figures. I was making more money
than the guy at the radio station that begrudgingly let me come in and work 3 days a week, 3 hours each of those days, screening calls, getting water for the host, doing research on the internet for their show, blah, 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 blah. And so these guys that hosted this sports show on this talk radio station, Sports Talk, started putting me on the air because they realized this guy's sharp. He's no dud. So I started doing like these special reports and things, and the program director who okayed the internship started hearing about it. And he was upset about it with these guys, not upset at me. He's like, guys, you can't put him on the air. He's not an employee. We have a very strict policy here that no non-employees can be on the air. Now, again, I got no problem with their rule. But these guys, the hosts were like, Ken's a good guy, wants to do this. You know, he's in here hustling. He's been serving us, and he's doing these really fun pieces on the Air Force. It's great. Well, he got all over him about it. And they're like, hey, man, we're sorry. We can't do it. So I walked to his office one day, and I said, hey, I understand this is the policy, but have you heard what I've been doing? Yeah, I listened to it. I said, can we talk to the general manager about it? Like, I'm just trying to this is just all gravy for me. And the guys like it. He looked at me and said, let it go, Coleman. He said, I got some bad news for you. I appreciate your attitude and you've been great. And I'm not against you, but somebody's got to tell you this. You're 33 years old and you don't have the talent to make it in a number 7 market or number 8 market, whatever Atlanta was at the time. He said, save yourself the time and the misery. He looked at me and said that. Now, Charlotte, you want to take a guess how I felt in that moment?
Pretty awful.
Mm-hmm. Really awful.
Yeah.
Mad, discouraged, embarrassed. Does that all sound familiar to you?
It does. Yeah, but I was just going to say that's what I'm going through right now.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm telling you my story, because I want you to know I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I had the decision to make. Was I going to let that guy who's a professional in the industry define me and let him tell me whether or not I have what it takes? Because I could have.
Yeah, you could have.
You going to let these people who are making a business decision based on their own reasons, you going to let them define you?
No, I get to choose perspective, and I get to choose what I label myself as. And
that's right.
I don't want to make that choice.
That's right. This doesn't define you.
No.
This dollar raise doesn't stop you. You're going to go, all right, I'll take the buck. I'll take the promotion. I'm going to show you how good of a leader I am. I've done this before, and I've had the T-shirt. I'm going to rock it. But you know what? I'm not going to tell you all this, but I'm going to find a place that sees me as I am right now. And if I can find it, I'm out of here. Deuces.
Yeah.
All right. You sufficiently motivated now to get over this?
Yeah, for sure.
Look,
I agree with that perspective, and it's just a matter of how I'm choosing to see it. So
well, here's what it is. It's all, yes, but listen, it's the reason I tell you the story is because I want you to get your mind focused on the big picture. And the only reason I was able to overcome that is because I focused on the vision for the future. And when your eyes are on the prize, you'll get over this. You'll be able to come in there and have a good attitude because you're going, it ain't about them. It's not about their opinion. It's about my destination.
Right. That's a great reminder. Thank you so much.
You bet, Charlotte. I believe in you and you will get there. Don't you dare quit. 844-747-2577. Woo! I'm all fired up right now. Come on. We'll go to the chat room, see what we got here. Jennifer writes in, I tried to work in the entertainment industry for years as a talk show host and actress, but no success. Should I give up and just take a job to pay the bills? No. Don't give up, but yes, take a job to pay the bills. Huh? Wait. You're telling me not to give up being an actress, but I got to take a job to pay the bills? Yes, because taking the job to pay the bills is what's going to keep you in the game long enough to catch the opportunity. It's not an either or. It is a both and. And you're going, Ken, how do I do it? You can figure it out. You need me to tell you. I did it. I had to run my own small business with my wife, and that limited the amount of time I could put into chasing this career, this dream. Took a little longer probably, but guess what? I had to pay the bills. Or if I didn't pay the bills, there was no dream opportunity to chase. I couldn't chase it. It is our financial stability and financial health that gives us the best shot at getting there. You can't chase the dream when you're starving. So that's the answer. Rajan writes in, how does one deal with a job which is very disorganized without any governance and reporting protocols? Feels like you need to be in a different place. Feels like maybe you're doing the right thing in the wrong place. You like the work, it appears. I mean, I don't know. This is the chat. You can call me if there's some nuances to this question. But assuming this is straightforward, if you're in a job where you're going, I can't even do my job well, it's kind of miserable because it's just like everybody's running around like their pants are on fire and there's no structure and efficiency. Well, that's going to fall in on itself. It's only a matter of time. Or if it's a small business environment, some small businesses and entrepreneurs can keep a thing going for a long time with that pants on fire mentality, but it won't grow. It won't scale, which means you don't have any growth there. So I'm out. Pretty straightforward on that one. Ben writes in, I'm feeling stagnant in my current position. How do I know if what I'm doing now is really what I'm passionate about? Okay, well, call me. And I'm going to walk you through this, but go to kencoleman.com and get the Career Clarity Guide and just walk through the exercise of figuring out if the work you do now matches up with what you say is the work that I love to do. Now, you can use the Career Clarity Guide to do this, but I want to give you a little exercise before you download it, and it's free at kencoleman.com. I want you to go through your day, the next 2 or 3 days. And I'd have a little pad with you, or if you're a digital guy and you like the phone, pull up a note or some type of whatever you write on your phone. And when you go from thing to thing, task to meeting to function to role, whatever you do during your day, I would rate or comment on all the major pieces of your day, the major tasks, the major roles, and say, does this give me juice or does it drain me? Does it fire me up or does it drain me? Is it meh? Come up with your own description, but I would start with more just, does this give me the juice or does this drain me? And it's going to fall between anywhere in there. So some will be very obvious that it gives you the juice. Some you're just, I can't even stand to do this. Some you're like, it's kind of in between. Go ahead and do that. That's going to give you a really good snapshot before you even take the Career Clarity Guide. And you're going to know, oh, goodness. And I had this question at a live event recently. Somebody asked me that. Well, Ken, in the sweet spot, how much of your job are you going to love? I thought it was a really good question. And there's no specific answer to this, but the ballpark figure is you should be pretty fired up and excited about 80% of what you do. And again, there's no way to measure that per se in some data, but there are things that I do during the day that I don't like to do. I'm probably at 95%. So I think that's a target. But I think anywhere from, let's call it 80 to 95% of your day is doing what you're good at, what you love, and produces results that matter to you. You're in your sweet spot. I mean, we got to be adults, I mean, I'll just tell you, I despise the concept of a meeting where 3 or 4, 6, 12 people get in a room and everybody talks and we banter around. I'm the guy that, Nathan knows this. Nathan directed me for years on the video channel. And now my style, if I got to talk to Nathan about something, I don't schedule meetings. I pop up at Nathan's desk. He's over there, doing something. All of a sudden it's like, boing. Oh, there's Ken. Am I right? That to me, because here's the deal. I don't need to schedule time with Nathan and sit down and have this long conversation. Hey, Nathan, I got an idea. Hey, Nathan, I got a question. What do you think? Boom. 7 minutes later, we're on with our lives. Joe knows this about me. But other people, and I understand the way the world works, meetings are also very effective and can be very effective. But I'm telling you folks, just giving you an example, I'm not a fan of meetings. I'm a fan of communication.
But you're a hands-on guy, so.
Yeah, but I'm very decisive. You know this. I don't need a 45-minute conversation to make a decision. I'm more 4.5 minutes of information, and that's getting a little bit much. And I know what I want to do. Am I right, Joe? Is that a fair assessment? I want to make sure I'm self-aware here.
Give me the cliff notes.
Yeah, always. Just give me the facts, man. And then I'm going to make a decision. So, thankfully, when you look at my calendar, I don't have a lot of meetings on my day. I'm not in my sweet spot if I've got a bunch of meetings. Now, I'll do a lot of interviews where I'm on other people's shows or podcasts or whatever. I'm working on a book. My day is full. But you need to be in that 80 to 95% of your day in that sweet spot type of work where you're using what you do best to do work you love to produce results that matter. So that's a good way to do that. All right. Let's get practical, shall we? I'm going to give you the highlights of this article, which is on kencoleman.com right now, how to ask for a raise. Just search it in our articles because we get this question a lot. And I know we got new people coming in all the time watching on YouTube. Okay. So first thing in the article, what we cover is before you even begin to prepare, before you even have that conversation, which I'm going to tell you how to have it, there's some things you need to do. And the first is self-assessment. Ask yourself 2 questions. If I were my leader, am I representing the kind of person that needs a raise, deserves a raise? Second question, am I going above and beyond what is already expected of me? Ask yourself that. Do a real assessment. Then go to your peers, the ones that are healthy, that'll be honest with you, but they're not backbiters and gossipers, and just say, hey, would you assess me in my role? Very honestly. That's very hard to do. Not many people do this, but if you do those 2 things, self-assessment and a peer assessment, before you ever start getting ready to have a conversation about a raise, it's going to help you, okay, because of what I tell you to do. All right. How to ask for a raise. Answer, you don't ask directly for a raise. And again, we've got a full article here, so you all have heard me teach this. But what you want to do is you want to ask for a growth plan. You want to sit down with your leader and go, hey, I want to grow. I want to grow. But I need you as my leader, if you're willing, to help me design a growth plan. Because I want to know what I can be learning, books I should be reading, areas of the company that I need to make more contribution in or could make more contribution in. Where am I winning? Where am I average? Where are some areas that I need to mitigate, kind of maybe get rid of those responsibilities because I'm a little bit weaker there? And maybe I need to figure out a way to get somebody else to do that task, but pick up more responsibility. I just want to be as valuable as I can. How can I be more valuable? And as a result, get more responsibility, which allows me to grow professionally and financially. See, when you couch it that way, it's like, oh, here's a person who's wanting real feedback and wants to know what I, the leader, think they need to do to make them more valuable for me. Remember, in having this conversation with your leader, understand that this isn't a selfish position. This is just practical. They're trying to help you help them because they've got a mission in the organization. They got results that they are supposed to be delivering, and you are helping them deliver those results. And then after you've developed, so hey, can we do this? So once we develop the plan, get on the same page and say, how are we measuring? So once the plan is presented and you all work together, say, hey, how do we measure it? So that you and I are on the same page. You're talking to your leader here on, okay, we're going to measure. We all need a scoreboard. And then you've got to be patient. You got to work the plan, deliver the goals so that the measurements are there. And by the way, if I go back a step, and this is all detailed out in the article, when you go through the measurement, you go, okay, based on the measurement, this is what your compensation is going to be. Based on your performance, this is what your compensation is. And so now you're clear and it's written. And so you never asked for a raise. You just simply said, hey, I want a growth plan. And how do we measure it? And then how do I earn more money as a result of delivering more results? That's how you do that. Okay. There's a whole lot more in that. I just glossed over that. How to ask for a raise, a great article, very detailed, and tells you exactly how to prepare for the conversation, how to conduct the conversation, what not to do, all of it in that article, How to Ask for a Raise, KenColeman.com. A lot easier to read than me break the entire article down, but it's really good stuff. And by the way, it works. We get emails all the time. All right. I can't believe it. We just got started. But my time's almost up. Before I let you go, you matter. You do have what it takes. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.